My name is Jesse Straight. Born and raised here in Warrenton, and I'm the farmer at Whiffletree Farm, which is about 3 miles from here on Springs Road, and we do sustainable pasture-raised chickens, eggs, pork, and beef, and turkeys. I guess one thing I'd like to ask that I'm not sure about in terms of clarifying the proposal is on the 12 times per year. You know, we have a farm store. It's a very modest building where we basically open it up on Saturdays where people can come and buy what we raise. So would that be included in this 12 times per year, even though we're utilizing a building? You know, we're not talking about large crowds. We're selling everything we raise. Would that be limited by this?
They're allowed to go in the building?
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Yes, well.
They would be regular.
So basically, I would have to be under Virginia code for that building and site plan. And, is that right?
That's what this ordinance would say, yes.
So I guess, you know, with that being answered, I certainly understand the idea of, it seems like this is going towards large events, you know, like a farm festival, like you pick your own, and, or, you know, hay rides and things with large groups of people. So I hope the intention or the, you know, the inclination behind this proposal would not be to stop what I'm doing, where I might have, you know, 30 people at most come out on a Saturday and buy, you know, food that I've raised, which, as I understand it, before this proposal, you know, because I've raised it myself, I've bought the administrative permit, I'm perfectly legal to sell, and it's just a matter of doing it, you know, in the rain or in a building. So, you know, that would be nice if the language was clear to make sure people like me, and there are probably other people with other considerations beyond myself, wouldn't be limited by this, because that seems pretty reasonable and not something that I think you all would want to prohibit.
Okay.
Okay, all right. And then the one other thing, I'm not sure if it's changed since I read it. I mean, it sounds like it has changed since I read it online, but was the non-ag events. And I guess just on one point there, I certainly understand the consideration of not wanting people to have sort of facade farms that become, you know, jump through, get around zoning to have entertainment centers. But I would say, on the other hand, it would be nice. It is true that farmers have an asset, which often is in the beauty of their farm and the setting. And so it would be nice to not totally to throw that asset off the table. So I guess what I'm saying is basically it would be nice if this wasn't so much a one-size-fits-all, prohibiting all non-ag events. You know, for example, weddings, and I know you mentioned fundraisers, but I think there might be a way to maybe write the proposal with enough caveats or clarifications that, you know, just for example, in my situation, we don't have any close neighbors. Noise wouldn't be a problem. You know, in terms of, you know, say half a dozen weddings a year, I don't think any of our neighbors would have a problem with. So it seems like, again, this is sort of a one-size-fits-all that it would be nice to avoid.
Madam Chair, if I could real quick.
Yeah.
Mr. Straight.
Yeah.
The people that are going into your building, they're going there to buy the products, correct?
Correct.
They're not going there for an event.
Right.
Therefore, you would not have to meet the building code. The event is what would kick in the building code requirement. So if you were having 12 weddings a year,
right,
you'd have to, that building would have to be per the building code. But just to sell them within your ag building, it's the ag affidavit permit, you're fine to go.
Okay, so now the 12 weddings, because the weddings wouldn't be ag related, right? That would not be.
Yes, it's the sale in any building would be permitted by right, and the building would still just meet the ag affidavit, you sign the.
So now, I guess, you know, another thing just from my own experience would be like, say if we have one of our farmer friends that, you know, does added value pot pies or something, and they're selling at our store. I guess, how do you prevent yourself from that murky line of an event versus our store hours, and you have someone that is doing a tasting or something, you know?
You're saying if he wants to sell his
I'm saying, you know, like with my...
Not a question and answer here.
No, I know.
He needs to get with staff.
Okay,
tomorrow.
I just want to, can I ask a question?
Basically, you know, with the administrative permit, I'm allowed to sell up to 49% of other people's local products. So say if I had one of my farmer friends who's selling something of theirs in our store, and he comes and does a tasting, and we invite people to do the tasting when they come to our store hours, you know, is that an event, or?
Right,
You
that
know.
would be something that I think we're going to have to get together with staff to get more clarification.
Okay. Yeah,
Mr.
thank you.
Strait, you own the 90 acres at Whiffletree?
That's correct. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for straightening that. I mean, when you said at first that he wasn't going to be allowed to, I thought, boy, I've misread this
Yeah.
whole thing.
Because he went from the events to that,
Okay.
that's why I just
Yeah,
wanted to clear that up.
right.
Okay.
All right, does anybody else wish to speak to this ordinance change? All right. Then I'm going to close this public hearing. And I'd like to make a motion to send this to the Board of Supervisors with a recommendation of approval. I think it's going to give the public some, if we send it up tonight, it'll give the public another, what, 6 weeks or so to continue to comment on this. I believe that the ordinance as it currently stands is much improved over where we began on this, and it's certainly improved over what we currently have. And I'm very comfortable with it as it currently is, which is the reason why I'm making this motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Do we have a discussion on this? Gentlemen?
Madam Chairperson, this is an expanded version of what was there. I agree with that. I think it needs some more work. And I think that we need to send that opinion to the supervisors that it needs some more work. People need to be heard, listened to, and their considerations taken in. So to move this on so that we can get some action on it, I will move it on to the Board of Supervisors, but I am asking that language be given they need to work on.
I believe that is their plan. I certainly hope so. Any other discussion?
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I have a couple comments. In all fairness to the commission, when we're in the work session and we're conducting the items on the work session agenda, a lot of times the commissioners will exchange ideas and reference in conversation, but it doesn't necessarily end up on the actual text that we're reviewing this evening and passing on to the Board of Supervisors. Earlier in the day, Commissioner Lee referenced how can we get to the dollar amount on the farm income, and he just, in a very loose way, mentioned F1. That is in no way, shape, or form we're imposing that restriction in this text amendment. That was just an innocent comment that was made in the work session. So a lot of it's very important that misinformation doesn't get scattered and condensed out into the community. The second thing is this is, I think the gentleman said earlier, this is an accessory use to agriculture. So there's a big difference in what we're proposing here. So I'm uneasy about the accounting, the whole accounting thing about how we're going to ask Mr. Floyd and Mrs. Johnson to, administer this, and that whole thing just gets really foggy in my mind. But in the spirit of this commission and their intended spirit of doing what's right for agriculture, and it's in everybody's heart up here to do and support agriculture in this county, I'm going to join Commissioner Meadows and please, we're a recommending board, take your energies, if you will, to the Board of Supervisors in emails or phone calls or however you'd like. But I do have there is a question mark on this accounting, how the county is going to get involved in that, just administering it. So that's my comments, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Meadows. Any other comments? No other comments? All right, well, we have a motion and a second on Forrest. I'd like to now take a vote. All those in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Okay, well,